Any other questions?
My son is a veteran. He served in the first Gulf War. In fact, he was the first Connecticut soldier to go to Iraq. And I never found that as a veteran he was ever treated very well. And I hear it sounds like he treats the injured veterans very well, but the ones that have other kinds of problems, there doesn't seem to be any place for them to go. He was training to go to Bosnia, and he got injured. He was with the 82nd Airborne, and he got injured, and the military just told him to go home. We don't need you to go home. And he was working for U.S. Customs at the time, and they didn't want him. They sent out a good troop. They didn't want a broken one back. So he ended up out of work for 6 months. And at the time, we went to Senator Dodd, Joe Lieberman. We ended up writing a letter to Bill Clinton, who was president at the time. Lucky you weren't there, so you don't get any credit. But there didn't seem to be any recourse. And now he's still working for the government, and there's 3 veterans where he works. And they've been singled out, and they're being treated differently than the rest of the people there who are not veterans. And there doesn't seem to be, when you take this anywhere, anybody that cares, or anybody that wants to do anything about it. And you get a lot of lip service, oh yeah, I'll look into it, but nobody does. This is bringing me to a point. There's something that I've heard recently, and I am hoping that you can verify, since I'm the mother of a vet. I've been hearing something about end-of-life counseling where they try to convince the vet that they're sick, that their life might not be worth living, and they have a thing that they're supposed to look through and check off. And with all that's happened to him, I would not ever want to see him have to face something like that. So I would like to know if you know anything about that. It's just something I've been hearing. I don't even know how to word it correctly. But it sounds so horrific.
I will be double checking it.
If I give you my card, will you let me know that personally?
Yes, I will.
All right.
Representative Courtney.
This has been all over the internet in the past few days. It's referred to as the death book. And on page 22 of whatever, I've looked at it on the internet, and it's on page 22, and there is in fact a checklist, and it's not pleasant.
Very normal reactions to a very abnormal situation. You know, their lives have been on the line for 12, 18 months. They had to drive fast. That's what they're taught. Drive fast. You know, and have a gun right next to you all the time, and those kinds of things. And then they come back here, and you know, for 18 months, driving fast saved their life. And now they're supposed to, you know, obey the speed limit and do those kinds of things. So it really is. They're having some very normal reactions to a very abnormal situation. Yes. So actually, we've been working with the state because we are seeing some of these young men and women coming back who are doing some things that they shouldn't be doing. But we also know that part of a clinical component. So we've been actually working with the state, with the commissioner, and trying to come up with some approaches to try to get them in treatment, not necessarily in jail. So it's been good.
Hi, my name is Will Nelson. I'm not a veteran, but I'm kind of here on behalf. This is a PDF of the document that everyone referred to with the VA system, which is the Your Life, Your Choices. And in it, it has a workbook that it's to help you go through the things, supposedly choosing your life choices. And part of what it says is that, for example, I can no longer walk but would get around in a wheelchair, and then you have choices that you get to make with that. One says that life would be difficult but acceptable, worth living but just barely, not worth living, and can't answer now. And I think most people object to the fact that in an official VA document with people who are under stress coming in for whatever, that they would have to even go through the exercise of making this sort of choices. And maybe these things should be confronted or not, but I'm not sure that the hospital or any hospital or the VA or the government and those of us who are not veterans but looking at what the federal government is proposing with healthcare reform, seeing the same sort of issues that come up where they're going to be forced to make choices or made to think that their lives are not worth living, whatever their condition. I'm not a veteran. I am an anesthesiologist. I'm a physician. I see these issues every day. I see them. I take care of children. So I see it from a completely different end of the spectrum, but I think that we all need to recognize that there are forces out there that may wish to limit our choices, ration our care, and that sort of thing, and that does concern me. And I didn't mean to hijack the thread from the veterans because I think they have their own issues, but this is something that they have to confront in the 53-page booklet that they come in when they get help.
Veteran from 1963 to 69, Army Signal. When you ask a question of a veteran who's come out of fear, you immediately take control. The mere question takes control. And I would suggest to you that if that thing's on the website, it doesn't belong. Because anybody asks me a question like that, given the training that I've had, okay, my response is going to be, I need to answer those questions.
Yes, sir. No, sir. No, excuse. Whether you use it or not, brother.
We're not using it.
But the reality is...
The reality is it's out there, I hear, and I understand. But there are a lot of talking heads out there. There are a lot of websites and points being added to VA sites that is not an official VA document. It's not an official VA publication. We only use advanced directions.
2006, Bush administration first put it in. Withdrew it immediately.
So I agree with what you're saying.